It's January 6th. Are you feeling the least bit insurrectional? Well, we're going to get your blood boiling by reviewing the quotes of the year for the 2024 Twins season. But before we put the building on lockdown, we're getting Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You're doggone right, your team every day. I'm co-host Dave Brown, a professional ball writer since 1998, and welcome. I kind of did that inside out, didn't I? But
we're going
with it. Going with it. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Locked On Twins, your daily go-to destination for the top Minnesota Twins insight, discourse, and analysis. Personally, this is just me talking. It's my favorite show of the Locked On Podcast Network, which, by the way, brings you your team every single day. You can find me, by the way, at Answer Dave Brown on Twitter and just Answer Dave on Blue Sky. Brandon Warren, he ain't no two-timer. But he is across from me in cyberspace. He's a Twins watcher for 30 years who not long ago covered the team on a daily basis professionally. He asks that you know some ball with him on Twitter at Brandon_Warren or on Blue Sky, where he's simply known as Warren. Now you can't say that we didn't warn you about today's show. Do you get it? We are doing the quotes of the year.
Hat tip to Dan Hayes, by the way, for
I was going to give him a hat tip. The quotes of the year as collected and collated and rebroadcast by Dan Hayes of The Athletic, who I think on Christmas Eve did a post. You've had plenty of time to look at it, so we're going to exploit it now.
That's why I don't feel bad about this version of aggregation, because you've had time to read it. The quotes are from last year. We are out of the what is that called? When you can still be charged.
No, that's different.
When you can still be charged with something.
Oh, like the statute of limitations?
Yeah, we're outside of the statute of limitations of a paywall article, I think. Love you, Dan. If I don't want him to get mad at us, but I think he's got other fish to fry when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Is the statute of limitations is on the insurrection? Is that gone? Is that serious enough that there is no statute of limitations?
Yeah, I don't think so. Why are you trying to admit to something?
No, I'm just trying to get everybody riled up, as is my want. Hey, I should have asked you this before. Is there any special?
Yeah.
Who? What? Where?
Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed win, lose, draw, you name it, they'll take care of you. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
I loved win, lose, or draw. Burt Reynolds and Burt Convey made it up or stole the idea or repurposed it or whatever. Pictionary or whatever, charades. That was a great show. Have you seen that? At least the YouTubes of that?
Yeah. Growing up, like Game Show Network and
right.
Just being in a family that watched a lot of old game show stuff on even just over the air, WeTV or MeTV or whatever. Like, yeah, I've seen more than my fair share of game shows and reruns and callbacks. It's definitely a part of my portfolio.
Well, good. Hopefully it's part of your CV and
yes.
Yeah, all that. So this isn't so much, we're not going to act out the Twins season, although that could be a funny show. But we are going to go over some of the quotes that Dan Hayes of The Athletic considered to be the most important ones of the year. And I think he pretty much nailed it. Maybe he's forgotten something. I don't know what that would be. But so there are 10 quotes, and we're going to chop it up into two different shows, 5 apiece, and we're going to have a quote of the year.
Happy New Year, by the way, everyone. This is our first New Year show. We've been behind the 8 ball a little bit.
Is it? I thought we didn't do one.
I thought it was already. New Year,
Somebody
New You.
Track for us. I don't know. Yeah. So, hey, what's more of a New Year's thing than to go back and look at the old year again? But like you said, we didn't want to harvest this content, but you people should just subscribe to The Athletic. I wouldn't say that for if you were in, let me think of another town. I don't know, but Minnesota, the Twins, if you're a Twins fan or a Vikings fan, you should subscribe to The Athletic.
Timberwolves are especially good too.
Oh, good.
Yep.
I don't really check that out too much.
Actually, the Wild's beat writer for The Athletic is considered the best beat writer in town. So the Wild and Wolves may be numbers 1 and 2, and that's with the utmost respect to the Twins coverage. And the Vikings coverage is top notch. You probably know Alec Lewis.
I do. Professionally, he was in Kansas City before he went to Minneapolis, and he covered the Chiefs and the Royals for a while, and maybe even KU basketball. But Dan Hayes and Aaron Gleeman, they are, I would say they're friends. Gleeman, at least a very good acquaintance, and Dan's a friend. But they're very good at what they do, and they're also give you different perspectives and focus on things in a different way. It's really good. I mean, the state of The Athletic, like the corporate state, it's not great. But I think if you're a Twins fan, that's something that you should subscribe to and pay money for. So in all seriousness, you're getting your money's worth there. It's good for journalism, even if the money is going to the New York Times, which I don't like very much. But that's who owns it, so whatever. Anyway, so we're going to write about some of Brandon's work today. We're going to talk about some of Brandon's written work. The quotes of the year, the disappointing season that it was for the Twins, but I think these encapsulate how the season has gone so far. Let's see. Okay, so the first one I have is from Royce Lewis. All they're going to find in these veins is ice cream, bro. How could you not? I mean, I understand how you cannot love Royce Lewis right now, but how can you not love Royce Lewis? That's hysterical. It was about his relating to, I think it was his slumping. I don't know if it was a slumping or what, but was it opening day? I don't remember. It was
as when he said this.
Yeah, he said it on opening day after his home run, right? Or
however it was, he had a big game, was tested for PEDs, and then after that, he didn't do so hot.
I even have that written here.
Between that and I think he had a comment about the Guardians not being unbeatable or something. I don't want to steal.
Oh, is that when that came out? Oh,
well, and so he struggled badly after this, but for the moment, I mean, like, this is one of those moments last year that was fun. In addition to the 4 months when they were the best team in baseball and the home run sausage, like, I mean, there was a lot of fun stuff, and we'll touch on some of that here. This was genuinely one of the most feel good, fun moments, quotes of the season.
We will touch on the sausage. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, so this quote, it was August 2nd, and Lewis was riding high after belting a 2-run homer and a 2-run double in a 10-2 rout of the lowly Chicago White Sox. Why do you got to do that? Why do you got to hate? Lewis learned to be drug tested after the game and dropped this gem. All they're going to find in these veins is ice cream, bro. Oh, that kind of makes the whole season worth it in a way.
You know what else is funny?
What?
Royce didn't go to college. Maybe he should look into like where your ice cream goes, because I don't think it's your bloodstream. I mean, unless he's talking about his A1C. Does
that get into your blood-brain barrier? So that could be diabetes waiting to happen. So we don't want that to happen.
Right. So no disrespect to Royce, but he was drafted right out of high school. Dropped out of high school right into the pros, like Nelly would say. And
he was.
Maybe he doesn't realize that ice cream doesn't go in your veins. But hey.
He probably realizes it. But. So you're right, though. I mean, this was on August 2nd. To me, that's when the bad times already kind of had started.
Yeah.
I don't. It's true that after this point, there wasn't much happiness, but it's we're starting off with this quote because it also reminds me of I don't do slumps, bro. I believe that's how he put it. And unfortunately, we found out that Royce does do slumps and is kind of still in one. I don't know if I believe in like taking records over to the next season or not, but I would say that Royce is in a slump as we begin 2025. So hopefully he's just going to find some more figurative ice cream in his veins.
He has a lot to prove for someone with the numbers he had last year. Like,
yeah,
his overall numbers look okay, decent, but he has a lot to prove, not only from a can he get it back standpoint, but a can he stay healthy standpoint. So pivotal season for the young man.
All right. We'll jump into this next one too. This is from Carlos Correa. I don't just want to be a body on the field. I want to be able to perform to the best of my abilities like I've done this first half. Last year, one thing I learned is people don't care if you go out there and play hurt. I'm just going to make sure that when I'm on the field, I'm not just somebody who's just standing there. I'm going to be Carlos Correa. Signed, Carlos Correa. So we started off with a fun moment with Royce Lewis's ice cream veins, and this is Royce Lewis talking about
Carlos Correa.
Or Carlos Correa, sorry.
Very Ricky Henderson-esque, though.
It is. Ricky Henderson, rest in peace. And he did. I mean, Correa did miss some time with an injury, and it showed. They weren't ready for that part, and that was one of the things that kind of led to their downfall that they never recovered from. But while he was out there, Correa had one of his best seasons. And this is a guy who's been one of the best players in the league since he came up with the Astros a number of years ago. So I kind of look at Royce Lewis as, and getting back to Royce Lewis, as in an optimistic way. I think he's going to come back. And I look at the season that Correa had as a very good, one of the few good things that happened to the Twins and good signs for next season as well.
Yeah, I think there's, that certain group of people online that will read every quote and twist it negatively, will say, oh, he's upset at the fans for wishing he was playing, or he's upset at maybe other teammates who are playing through injuries but playing poorly and are just bodies out on the field. To me, as someone who's, again, not to blow my own horn, talk to players and kind of can understand the context of these things, to me, this is him expressing the utmost frustration that he can't be at his best helping a team when they desperately need him. And I think that's where this quote comes from in his heart or his soul, his mind as a player is, I want more than anything to be out there helping this team. But I know if I go out there as a shell of myself, not only does that reflect poorly on me and the team, but it doesn't actually, him at 50% is worse than Willie Castro at whatever percent he was in the second half. That sort of thing.
Yeah, he's definitely talking about himself. He's challenging himself as he gets to age 30 to do whatever it takes to stay out on the field, because when he's out there and not injured, this is one of the very best players in the league.
Correct.
Now, there are some signs that, Carlos's range is not what it once was at shortstop. Now what he gets to, he makes a difference, and he knows where to be, where to put himself in the field and to make plays. I wonder if this is going to be his last season at shortstop. I don't know. Defensive metrics are funny. They could have taken a left turn last year, and they could jump back up and be great again. That's the one thing. That's the one question I have with Correa at this point. Is it a downturn on defense, or is it just kind of a left turn statistically? Because a lot of times the defensive metrics, it doesn't seem to follow logic. Mm-hmm. Guys will all of a sudden be struggling there, and then they'll be good. So, at some point, maybe he'll have to worry about third base, but hopefully it's not next year. And that's basically, I think, Carlos Correa. In the meantime, the Twins are going to be certainly counting on him again in 2025, given the lack of additions that they're making to the team. Not to get too much on that yet. But all right, so when we come back, we will talk more about the quotes of 2025, 2024, as collated by Dan Hayes of The Athletic. But first, we're going to talk to, or we're going to listen to some of our fine sponsors.
From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Your team goes home and you still get the bonus, whether you're rooting for my Vikings or the Detroit Lions who just smoked them. Win or lose. It's the best deal to do postseason football, because you don't got to worry about that crushing defeat. FanDuel's app will give you everything you need for live bets, same game parlays, and so much more. Again, win or lose, you are still going to get to that $200 in bonus bets, and all it costs you is a little $5 bill. So visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
So we're back with Locked On Twins, Brandon Warren and Dave Brown, and we are talking about the quotes of the year of the 2024 season as collected and collated by Dan Hayes of The Athletic. And so far we have a quote from Royce Lewis. All they're going to find in these veins is ice cream, bro. And then also a longer quote that I'm not going to repeat from Carlos Correa, basically talking about himself and how he wants to be the best version of himself, not a shell of a person who's injured and got plantar fasciitis and all that stuff. And that's what we've got so far. Here's our third quote of the day. This is for the fun times again. It's hard to believe there were so many fun times, but the first few months of the season, it wasn't so bad. This is Ryan Jeffers talking. Eventually, we'll have to switch the sausage out in order to avoid the health department knocking our door down. Rocco Baldelli, parentheses, doesn't want another epidemic. He doesn't want another COVID-19 epidemic from our sausage. We don't want the Minnesota Twins sausage to start another worldwide crisis. Boy, Ryan's really leaning in, isn't it? So we'll see. It's fun. Ryan Jeffers. So it seems like a million years ago, but at the beginning of the season when the Twins were hitting, a lot of it was not really, but kind of playfully pawned off on this sausage that Kyle Farmer, may his Twins career rest in peace, was gifted, and then he regifted to the clubhouse, and it was a summer sausage type deal, and it became a good luck charm where the players would have the sausage and then they would throw it at the guy who hit the home run. I remember that happened a couple times to Carlos Santana, and also rest in peace, Carlos Santana as a Twin. These were the fun times. This is, when a team busts out things like a rally sausage, you think, all right, this is a sign that this is going to be a special year. And it wasn't. And it's really disappointing. But at the time, it seemed like this was the kind of gimmick that we could all get behind. And I wish that things had turned out better.
Can I just air a grievance here that things like this and sports in general, these things are meant to be a 1 year only thing. The Twins tried to make Bomba Squad happen again in 2020. And I know 2020 was a weird, wild ride for all of us, MLB and just the world at large. But again, just even in my upbringing in sports, which was playing at the most amateurish of levels, jokes stay, bits stay in that year. You can't bring back Torrey Hunter dance parties the next year. Torrey Hunter wasn't there, and the dance parties aren't dance parties anymore. Plus, I think they lost 99 games and ended up 103 games, actually. They ended up drafting Royce Lewis. Everything comes full circle. But leave these things in the year. I don't think there's any risk of this bleeding into next year based on how poorly they played down the stretch. But yeah, boy, in a span of about 35 words here, I think he said epidemic more times than he said the rest of his life. Really leaning into in a different timeline, maybe a couple years before. I'm not saying Ryan Jeffers would have been canceled for this, but it definitely would have been more of a certain people online being like, hey, should he really say that?
I was thinking of that kind of a little bit because I'm kind of one of those people. But yeah, I don't see the sausage. The sausage has turned, and I mean that in every way possible. I don't see it coming back. Now you mentioned stop trying to make Bomba Squad happen again. And I thought you were just going to add Greg Masterson because he likes to bring up the Bomba Squad. And
yeah, but he's doing it ironically.
He is. So we can do this. Are you saying that we can reference the sausage ironically?
Did you see he did an ear reveal, by the way?
I heard about it, but I was turned off by the
so the joke I wanted to make was I open old baseball card packs from time to time, and they had a set that had like it's like a Stan Musial puzzle card. And I feel like through various tweets, I'm going to be able to piece together Greg's face, and it's going to look like a Picasso painting, but it's going to be him in the aggregate. And so I'm excited about that. But any way to get that into there. If you want to say these things ironically, I think there's a lot of fun ways to work in old bits that way. And, look no further than my feed on any different platform to me working in old jokes. I mean, I ran 98 speed into the ground, or maybe it was 96 speed. I think it was 98. Jordan Schaefer on MLB The Show had just crazy speed. And that was like the only good thing he had. And so I'd be like, he used his 98 speed to steal second base, or used his 98 speed to miss that fly ball in the outfield. I just, I kind of got good at like weaving that in. So I'm on board with like, boy, that's a sausage, whatever, hit a home run. Boy, they're having a sausage party in that dugout, like something like that. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
We don't want, we definitely don't want to know how the sausage is made in that doubleheader.
No.
So, yeah. All right. So just, I guess we'll bring up the sausage, and, Farmer's gone. The sausage, I'm sure I hope it's been, I do kind of wonder, has it been thrown away?
Well, and here's the thing. If anything was going to stand the test of time, summer sausage. I mean, what's more preservative filled or more, created to last that long?
Everybody kept bothered me because you don't have to refrigerate it when you buy it.
Everybody talking about how dangerous it was. I think at the peak of their struggles, if I was a guy on the team and maybe like the team cut up, and that's probably what I would be because I can't play baseball very well. I think I would have taken a big bite out of it in front of everybody and then just slammed it down and walked out of the room and don't say a word.
Right. Would that have turned the season around? That might have turned the season around.
Turned my life around. Probably send me to the send me to the hospital, but
it turned you around in the toilet.
Botulism.
Right. All right. Next quote. We're doing the quotes of the year from 2024 as collated and collected in some order by Dan Hayes of The Athletic. Number 4. It's the most challenging rehab I've ever had. I'm waiting for the call. This is more anticipation than my debut call. I'm waiting for the call to just go back out there to play. Royce Lewis. So kind of ominous, as it turns out. He was... he was okay after his initial injury.
Yeah.
He still hit, it wasn't, a home run every day, every time the bases were loaded, but it was kind of a, this is sort of a reminder of the Rocky season. And I don't mean Colorado Rockies.
Can we get out in front of one thing? He turned 25 in June. Why? He's talking about multiple rehabs. That is not great. Like, this is the worst rehab I've had. Bro, right. You are 25. We should not have enough rehabs to be making this comparison.
To make a list.
Yeah.
It should not be a list.
Yeah. So, I just...
the thing, I honestly don't know. When things like this happen to people, is it because they just are prone to it? Or is it something, I don't want to say, Royce Lewis, you should have been in better shape or whatever. Certainly, I don't want to say that about somebody.
Same.
But is it just something that happens? Are we going to have to live with it? Is it going to go away at some point? I don't know. Do you get healthier as you get older? Not usually.
With Paul Molitor, he did. And so, again, right. Paul Molitor, an all-time talent. He even said that to Byron Buxton, said, listen, it's not unheard of, because he was his manager for a while. So they got a pretty good relationship. And I think he taught him coming up a lot of stuff about base running and reading pitchers and that sort of thing. But it also, like Buxton, Lewis, Correa having more injury issues with the Twins than before. Again, aging plays a factor, but the common thread is the Twins. Why is that? Why is that when you've had different training staffs, is it bad luck? Is it bad mojo? Do they need to, sacrifice something in the clubhouse? I don't know.
You mean like a sausage, like a Joe Boo sacrifice? Or do you mean like sacrifice red meat, or
Peyton Eels.
don't eat any more red meat, and then
sacrifice Peyton
hamstrings
Eels
be
because
better.
he's the littlest one.
Don't do that. All right, we have one quote left for this show. It's a two-part episode. This Locked On Twins, and we're going to get to it as soon as we do one more. We still got a sponsorship thing, right? Okay, do it.
I love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. And one of my favorite memories was attending a concert just this last year. The energy and excitement were unforgettable at US Bank Stadium when I saw Metallica. Mammoth open for them. It was incredible. Gametime has made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, Gametime Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Recently, I was looking for tickets to an upcoming Timberwolves game using the Gametime app. With Gametime Picks, I found amazing deals and could even see the view from my seat before I bought. Plus, the super deal was particularly impressive, offering great seats at unbeatable prices. Plus, the app's all-in pricing shows the total cost up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWNMLB, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB, and you'll get $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time.
We are back in our final segment for the first part of our two-part show about the quotes of 2024 as collected and collated by Dan Hayes of The Athletic. Again, I'm Dave Brown along with Brandon Warren. We've got one quote left, and this is it. And it's going to put everybody in a sour mood. I'm sorry. Without a question, the television situation is having an impact on our business. But beyond that, we're also just trying to right-size our business. Thanks a lot for that one, Joe Pohlad.
Yeah.
It's, fans have everything they need and media has everything it needs to. It's like where would you like the target on my back? Straighten it over here. Should I put it over here? It's, I guess I'm glad he said it, but it also makes very frank the situation that the Twins are in. And that is one of not spending any money really, any more than they already committed, basically, to getting the roster better. And this has been the thing. This quote and what it means has been hanging over the team ever since he said it in spring training.
Yeah, of all the quotes, this one's bleeding into this year, and it's certainly it's a downer. I mean, it's a cloud over this team, and it's a team that right now should be in a lot better place as far as how they're building, and things can change if ownership changes in the near-ish future. But I guess there's a few layers to this. Like, as a baseball / Twins fan, I don't know if I want to call myself that. It's frustrating, but at the same time, it was also direct. It didn't beat around the bush. It wasn't. I mean, I guess right sizing does beat around the bush a little bit, but at least it was honesty. And when fans ask for honesty, but then get it, then they turn around and say, well, I didn't like that honesty. And it's like, yeah, you got to be careful what you wish for. And I think that was one of these situations where if they hadn't spent money and didn't say something, is that a sin of omission rather than commission? I mean, at the end of the day, they should have spent more money because they've made money hand over fist on this enterprise over the 40 years they've owned this team. However, I don't know what I would have done in that position either. And so that it's not me having sympathy for the billionaires. It's not me, carrying water or kissing or what is it? Bootlicking. I'm not doing anything like that, but I am aware that they operate the way they operate, and it's not just plucked out of thin air. They've been advised by somebody in addition to their own interests. And so the HBS can't come soon enough, and that's assuming they actually come in the first place to the Twins' rescue, so to speak. It being a 1-year thing was my genuine hope. It being less than a year thing and making movements at the deadline last year to, just a couple additions. And we'll talk about that with a quote on the next episode. To go out and get a reliever that doesn't even last the rest of the season on your roster was pretty bleak. And again, based on how this team is constructed right now, you are a piece away from really feeling good about yourself. And I feel good about this team's roster right now. If you were ever going to have an off season where you didn't make an addition, it'll probably be okay right now as opposed to any other time. But if you win 88 games, go to a wild card and get bounced, you're going to say to yourself, boy, we were one starter away. We were one right-handed outfield bat away. And it's not going to make you feel good when even a cheap one like Randall Grichuk is playing someplace else.
Yeah, very, really nice year for Arizona too. I'll be real quick about this, and then we'll get out of here and get on to the next one. So we can get in our 32-minute barrier. Without question, the television situation is having an impact on our business. Okay, I can deal with that. The television situation is settled for now. It is going to be an enterprise between the Twins and MLB. And so that's, at least they've touched bottom on that, of the pool, I mean. And it's eventually they'll build their way back up, hopefully with revenue there. The second part of that statement, we're also trying to right-size our business. You hinted at this.
Yep.
We talked about sausage in an earlier segment. That is baloney.
Lame.
It is. They were giving out, how much was Joe Mauer making 20 years? It wasn't 20 years ago, but 15 years ago. When did he sign that contract?
23 millies. 23 big ones.
As the guy in Slapshot said, you see this quarter? It used to be a nickel. That means inflation has happened, and they're lying to you.
Yep.
They have the money. They are not paying as much in salary relative to what they used to when they used, 15 years ago. It's not happening. So, all right, we're over our 32 minutes. I didn't make it.
It's all good. While you were soliloquying, that's my callback to Dusty Rhodes, one of my all-time favorite personalities. While y'all was soliloquying, I was doing this.
So, Joe Pohlad, you are full of sausage.
Did you see he got, I think he got Turkey of the Year from Patrick Royce, which is a fun column every year at Thanksgiving. He picks the biggest goat, original version of goat, which is like bad as opposed to greatest of all time. That takes you back a little while. He every year he has kind of like the biggest goober in Minnesota sports, and this year it was Joe Pohlad.
I like all those words though: hero or goat, goober or gomer. Patrick's kind
I still can't help but feel like the Pohlad family just shoved the kid out in front of everybody. I mean, Joe Pohlad's probably about my age, and boy, they just threw him to the wolves. I feel bad almost.
Well, that's the wrong sport. First of all, if they threw him to the wolves, they need to throw him to the Twins because they own the Twins, not the Wolves.
Well, throw him to the wolves and let Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez buy the Twins. That'd be fine.
Is that any further along?
I don't think so. And the team stinks right now.
Yeah, things aren't going well. Vikings, Wolves. I always assume the Wild is doing poorly. So
no. They're like the best team in the NHL.
Oh, they are?
I think so.
I'm sure another few will drop there soon.
Oh, always.
All right, so that's going to wrap this one up. I'm Dave Brown. He is Brandon Warren. And we will be doing another one of these Quote of the Year shows very soon, so you look for that. But until then, we'll see you tomorrow night.
Night.